away from home, it doesn't mean that you are going to lose.
Right now, well, home wins after match day one, just two. Rivers United 2-1 win is over Lobby Stars, and Remo Stars 2-0 win is over Al Academy Warriors as well. A couple of away wins, Ben Insurance beating Kwa United and Yimba against Nassau United. We also saw Night Senator seeing of victories away from home, while Abia Warriors also got all three when they faced Oriental neighbors, talking about Enugu Rangers. Well, the rest were draws. Cleat United Shooting Stars, we're talking Kwara United Gombe, Doma Sunshine, Dakada Bayosa United. So that's the story of the match here one now complete in the NPFL. We'll travel to Europe in a bit, so you get to join the conversation. But before that, while Solos is waiting on the fringes with the scorecard of Nigerian players and how they're fared with their respective clubs in Europe, let's tell you about Arsenal goalkeeper Arthur Okonkwo, who has been linked up with with Austrian side Sturm Graz for the remainder of the season. Okonkwo was recently recalled from his loan spell at the two-side Crew Alexandra. He's 21, made 26 appearances for Crew Alexandra and kept 10 clean sheets in the process. Is a young goalie with a captain's armband for the FA Cup second round defeat to Barnsley back in November. Former England under-18 international shooting through the youth ranks in Arsenal, but he's here to make his competitive first team debut for Mikel Arteta's side, and we can only wish him the very best. And if he continues like this, you can't bet against maybe the nearby future. A call to the Super Eagles of Nigeria when you also consider the level of competition at the three lands of England. With that side by side with the uncertainty surrounding our number one choice regarding the Super Eagles of Nigeria today is Maduka Okoye, tomorrow is Franzu Zoho. Well, tomorrow we'll talk about even maybe John Noble coming in and with a shot. Ike Chukwuezenwa has been there previously. Now let's go to Europe and start in England and tell you about the story from the English Premier League very, very quickly. So you join the conversation on 090-222-3101-027 624-565. We're looking to get as many reactions as possible, following barrage of action from across Europe's top 5 leagues and, of course, the Nigerian Premier Football League continuing and completing match day 1. Well, the man came off the bench talking about one of the most expensive players in English football history, talking about Jack Grealish, £100 million buy from Aston Villa, popped up from the bench and handed City the lead in that particular game. But, 2 goals in the space of 4 minutes, turned the game on its head. Well, first, a controversial goal from Bruno Fernandes and a second from Marcus Rashford, MBE, turned out to be the winner as United grabbed the massive win at Old Trafford. Elsewhere, Liverpool were no match for Brighton, who unarguably could have scored more, could have been 5, could have been 6 on the night, ball was just 3-0. And massive credit to Jurgen Klopp for reducing the damage in that particular one. They lost 3 goals to nothing. Everton, lost the lead, squandered a lead. Well, it's a recurring decimal, it's a recurring thing, conversation for Everton under Frank Lampard this particular season. The loss against a proper Southampton side, fresh off winning against Manchester City in the EFL Cup, making the semi-finals in the process. Well, James Ward-Prowse, what a man, what a player. Nottingham Forest continued to distance himself from danger. Grabbed a 2-0 win against Leicester City. Wolverhampton Wanderers are another side who were looking to stay clear of danger. Well, the red zone. Got a 1-0 win against the Hammers. David Moyes' West Ham United, and the pressure is really piling. It's getting worse for West Ham United. The GT Community Stadium in Brentford was Brentford who won 2 goals to nothing against AFC Bournemouth. Let's fast forward to yesterday, who had a lot more action, and it was the first win in a little over 10 games for Graham Potter. Well, is this what they needed to turn the corner? We'll talk about that in a bit. But it had to be Kai, right? Kai Havertz's 64th minute goal turned out to be the winner at Stamford Bridge in what was a London derby against Crystal Palace. On the miserable side. Alexander Mitrovic had the chance to score from the sports ball. Well, touched the ball twice, which is against football rules, and the penalty was chalked off despite hitting the onion bar. Well, Alexander Isak popped up from the bench and with almost one of the last kicks of the game handed Newcastle a massive win which keeps them in the top 4 and a first win in 3 games. Tottenham Hotspur Stadium to very particular was the North London derby where Spurs hosted Arsenal, and it was Mikel Arteta's side who grabbed consecutive wins against Tottenham Hotspur, this time 2 goals to nothing. Well, Sports for choice, guys. Let's talk about that controversial moment. Bruno Fernandes with 30 yards. We're talking Marcus Rashford carries the ball, and the conversation is about did he interfere with play? But the referee waved that off. Not even a VR check and all of that. Well, the ball stood, and many say that was a turning point in that particular game. With a little over 3 minutes later, Manchester United grabbing their goal from the man again, Marcus Rashford. I'll start with you, Blyden. A goal or not?
Why always me? It was an offside, clear offside. There was clear interference. That's the thing. I always tell people, if you look at football, first thing that comes to mind, what if he did a dummy there? He didn't get to have to touch the ball, but he could jump past the ball and could be called a dummy, skill in football. There was clear interference. If Rashford was up there, I can bet anybody, Akanji would have cleared the ball. He could have done a slide from the ground to clear that ball, but that didn't happen because Rashford was right there. And this is it for me. When there's bound to be an offside, and you're in that position, you let the ball slide. It takes maybe probably 1 second, 2 seconds, and you lift the ball. You could count it. Rashford was probably maybe 4 seconds almost with the ball, though not touching the ball, having that physical real contact with the ball, but he interfered in all sense of understanding. He interfered with the ball, but at the end of it, what matters most would be that win. But disappointing that the VAR didn't look it up. Disappointing that the referee allowed that. Not good for football. Not good for football.
Mari, for a moment, what do you think the referee was thinking?
Right, I think this is just another testament of atrocious and calamitous officiating from English referees, basically, and that's basically why they barely get recognized at the world stage, because there's a VAR committee there. You don't tell me that the VAR went to eat lunch, because first of all, let's look at the rule book. The rule book says that the players are judged offside if he interferes with play, makes an attempt, to play the ball, of course, interferes with the sight of the opposition player. And these 3 instances clearly shows what happened. Marcus Rashford, first of all, interfered with the sight of Akanji, like Ben was talking about. Imagine Marcus Rashford was not there, because you have a clear sight of the ball and even run a lot more faster. Secondly, the linesman had already raised the flag. That also slowed down the City players, because they thought that the referee would turn towards the call of the linesman and call the ball offside. That's why what's his name now, the City goalkeeper Ederson, was hesitant to come out too, because he saw the linesman raise the flag up, so it was offside clearly. But I wonder why after the referee consulted the linesman and then he still gave the goal. So I think it's just a case of atrocious officiating by English officials, and I think it's quite sad because, like I said, it turned the game on its head. That was the deciding point in that particular game, and from there City were loose, they were all out, and they just couldn't get themselves back on track again in that game.
Well, atrocious. Call it what do you like? Well, criminal officiating, but I'm sure Sonorex enjoyed that, didn't you?
Well, first up, right, it has to be me. But I think the only mistake the ref did was not going to the VAR to check that particular replay or whatsoever happened in that particular game. So, Bright, it was a goal, they counted, but for me, there was an interference between Marcus Rashford and Akanji as well in that particular game, right? But this is not the first time this is happening. It happened in the FA Cup final against Chelsea and Arsenal, where Jude was offside. Alexis Sanchez, just did that dummy, and Sanchez came in to score that particular goal. So, Bright, if you are complaining about officiating, I think we need to still do a lot more when it comes to officiating as well, Brett. No. But that particular goal, Brett, it was an offside goal, and the ref has to explain to
what more do they need? A lens from heaven? What exactly? There's VAR. There's basically everything to help you in making better decisions. But now we continue to see these things happen time and time again in England, and now the conversation from here would be, from a yesteryear's kind of position, which is worse, because it looks like what we've been complaining about in Nigeria in terms of officiating. It's currently playing out even on the bigger stage in England. They still have that while we're looking to dump it in our past here in Nigeria.
Brett, I think it's really difficult here, but we all know that the officials, all those everybody that is in charge of the VAR, I think they're all human beings.
No, the question, not humans. The question would be, were they United fans?
Certainly not United fans. I think they were both of our English officials who were meant to or assigned to.
I like to dig out those names and then maybe dig up their history. But at this point in
time, clearly, truly, Marcus Rashford interfered in the play. He interfered in the play psychologically and physically and psychologically. Even spiritually. No, but the only thing is that he never had a touch in the ball. And no, that is not in conformity with the rule of the game, because when there is an interference in the game while you are in offside position, and at the end of the day, a goal comes at the cost of that act, such goal should not stand. But Bruno Fernandes scored and the referee allowed the goal to stand, and that was a turning point for United. And United fans will be very happy whether it was in conformity with the game or not in conformity. But it can also be recalled that Cristiano Ronaldo scored twice against Newcastle United and the goal never stood.
Goal is a goal.
Right, now let's talk about transformation for this man. Well, call it physical, call it spiritual, call it what you like, but Chelsea got their turning point. Kai Havertz got the goal which turned out to be the difference in that game against Crystal Palace. So let's hear from Graham Potter, and then you join the conversation in a bit.
Yeah, relieved, emotional, proud of the players, proud of the club, because I thought they conducted ourselves in a really good way today, especially with the tribute to Gianluca, and then the way the crowds sort of understood where the team was at. They kept supporting the players, young players on the pitch. And they really helped us. So fantastic day for the team, and one to be proud of. Like I said, we'll have bigger moments and bigger days, but in the context of where we've been at, I think it's a positive day for us.
With that in mind, it felt like it was a day for leadership on the pitch. Did you get that today?
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot's been made of that. And I think the boys have been trying their best. They've been suffering along with us all. But I think from Kepa to Thiago to Georgie, they're all sort of helping and doing the best, and combined with that with some young players that are making the debuts, like I said, I think the crowd helped them along and dealt with them really, really well.
You mentioned young players, you mentioned the debut, obviously Ben.
For Graham Potter, well, does that transmogrify their fortunes this season? Is that the point you would say, well, this is that transformative win helps them change the corner? What did that win mean for Chelsea?
Well, first of all, I think it was a disappointing win for the fans, because you look at the way Chelsea struggled to win Crystal Palace, quite disappointing. Everyone is beating Crystal Palace, and especially when they're playing at home. It was a Stamford Bridge, and they did struggle. It was a scrappy win for me at the end of it.
Everyone was beating Nottingham Forest until Chelsea got there. They didn't beat Nottingham Forest.
The question, well, was Chelsea. But it speaks volume about the state of the club. But I think it's a good win for Graham Potter, because he just needs something to build on. Good win for the lads too, because at some point, it seemed as if there were lots of ideas. Until Aubameyang was introduced. A lot of people are not good fan of Aubameyang these days in Chelsea, but it gave Kai Havertz the opportunity to drift a little backward and join the attack instead of being the front liner, which is always that. What's they call it now? Not a full attack now. What's they call it? A false nine, yes, they call it. And that's it for me. It doesn't make sense playing Kai Havertz always as a false nine. He wouldn't necessarily get that result. He's not going to take the load off him. And we saw exactly that. He turned up to the party, hitting that ball inside the net, and good win for them to start from.
Right now, 090-222-3101-027-624-565. Well, you're here and you're live. Welcome, football fan. Name and location. Yeah, Metro. All right, go ahead. Talk to us.
I want to talk of game paper. Okay, so that they go to me. What was it? I waiting. They move out. I will wait. So this is good stuff.
Metro, I think you'd have to call us back. That line is terribly breaking. So sorry about that, all right? Try to call us back. Welcome, football fan. Name and location.
Hello, good afternoon, Brother James and the sport analyst in the house.
Yeah, Pastor Chief.
Yeah, this is Pastor Chief calling from your Glory Man United. Brother James, I want to say I am very happy with the recent development in the Nigerian Premier League this season. Just look at the way things are. Teams can go away and win their match comfortably, not with penalty, not with anything. They win comfortable and some will play draw. I strongly believe if it is like this, our league will be very unique this season. And I want to thank our manager, Eric Danhan, for the good work he is doing in Manchester United. He is building a formidable team that we used to be. Glory, Manchester United. Thank you for having me this afternoon.
All right, thank you very much, Pastor Chief Sylvester, for joining. Appreciate you.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, Metro back again, so take 30 seconds.
I wanted to talk about last week and the good job you have done for making this league at least a little bit improved. Also, congratulate them for that. As for the conversation goal between Man U and Man United, I thought that goal was an offside, though. It was not an offside, but the third of my explained to me that was offside. But anyhow, you can recall last season, the same controversial goal was for against Everton. That was one of the games that took them to win the league. So it's also their turn for them to be managed, for them to be pulled. So, as for Chelsea, I know that this game will be a turning point for them. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Metro, for joining on Stretch the Conversation. Thank you. We appreciate you. We'll hear from Mariz Balaga in a bit, but we'll continue the phone lines and the conversation from here. Welcome. Yeah, Victor. Thank you, Victor, for joining. Appreciate you. Hello, welcome. Yeah, thanks for joining. I can hear you loud and clear. Go ahead, talk to us.
Good afternoon. My name is All
right, Nyakno.
Calling from Nigeria.
Welcome.
I thought we made the is a Liverpool fan. Why should not be talking about Liverpool loss? And when Manchester United, whether outside or not, we won our game. And the truth was what we needed. And we got it at Manchester United.
All right, thank you very much for joining. Well, I hope when it happens against your team tomorrow, you won't complain. Welcome, football fan. Name and location. Good to have you join us.
Good afternoon, sport analyst Mr. Easy on the line.
Well, Mr. Easy, it's not just raining for Liverpool, it's falling.
Yeah, it's the handbook of my tactician because of his own ideology in the football, who like to gambling, also bringing his football on when men are playing. That is where the error. And let me also advise Liverpool that some of the previous players that in our sport a lot of them need to be replaced by a fresh new blood in Liverpool. I don't know whether the board do not support the jogging club in terms of acting in the market. Look at Chelsea, over 200 in the summer, and now they are staying above close to 200 again also. And Liverpool should act quickly because of the new deals that are here that Qatar have come to speak on Liverpool in terms of to take over
All right, Mr. Easy. Thank you very much. Oh, not just raining, it's pouring. Well, remember that name, Kaoru Mitoma. Liverpool's. Good to have you join us, football fan. Welcome. All right.
I don't know why my enemy has won. You said that I will not win the league. But I'm sure I'm winning their match. I don't know why they are doing that I will not win the league. That they will this team will win and then they just to go and identify players. They are hijackers. I don't know why when I said identify players, they will go and hijack it. Yeah, they should identify players. And some hijacking Arsenal players. We are taking a statement so that we will save money anyhow. Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining. Well, for now was Yao Felix. Kaido Modric is now joined. Welcome, football fan. Name and location. Good to have you join us.
Good afternoon, Bright and Sports Crew.
Yeah, top gunner.
Yeah, Bright. Kudos to Dakara returning with a point against Mighty Bayelsa United. For some time, Dakara has been good travelers in Nigerian league. They should work on their home game, just like what happened last season. They were poor in home game. Then Bright MPL recorded 4 away win. Can we attribute it to IMT professionalism? Very good for Nigerian league. But Tottenham lost Arsenal for the very first time at home against since 2014. Arsenal has classed Tottenham in all departments, thanks to Ugo Lodi's high-profile error. Finally, Chelsea are getting Modric fine because of the lot of money by his director. Let them know that a good teacher Bright produces quality students. Going to Grand Potter is an awkward career. His career will somersault. He's supposed to come out now and land again. Imagine 8.5-year contract. He doesn't over well. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, Top Gunner, for joining the conversation. Well, an early on goal from Hugo Lloris set Arsenal on the path of that remarkable victory. Martin Odegaard's 36 minutes goal was also a damaging one psychologically for Spurs, who absolutely couldn't recover. Welcome, football fan. Name and location.
Absolutely surprised and grow in the studio.
Yeah, when?
You say it's passive winning. It's not passive winning. It's controversial winning. If you can check the goals, that's 2 goals. I've been scoring with my shoulder. It was been put clearly offside. Everything does that. But what happened to that? It is disruptive. By the city. I don't like that for that day. What they don't say, the free with lifestyle. Don't show up. Don't just like that. It's not what I'm doing you. That's the first one. God bless you.
So sorry. So sorry about that. I understand the emotions are quite high, but
Right.
keeping it.
Right.
Okay.
Bright. Since I have been telling you, teach them football. Teach everybody sports the way you do your sports. Did you see what happened yesterday? The only 2 things I will tell you now. That devil can never play without keeping. Did you see another final 14 against 11 yesterday? Does it mean that there is no VAR in Old Trafford? That the referees will go in board meeting and decide goal? At this war now, that Lampard have already set example in the world. They don't want to be use it at Old Trafford. Well, there's no problem. In as much as they are deaf, they can never leave cheating. They can never in their life. Let them continue like that. 2, no matter how you wash dog will eat shit. No matter how many players you buy,
okay.
give gap.
Okay. Well, the words you can't actually use on radio, right? You have to find better ways of saying those things. The word you used, well, it's one of them. All right. Thank you very much. I hope you take the correction. Just for you. words, all right? Languages. Welcome. Football fan, name and location. Thanks for joining us.
Good afternoon, Brad.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
My name is Victor. I'm calling from Uyo.
All right, Ito.
I was so much happy for my team, Arsenal. I've still been the topic of the Premier League. This particular season play well. And for Manchester United, we already know that some referees always supporting for match, giving them the offside goal for them to use it and win Man City. For Chelsea to adapt the players of Arsenal is not a new thing. But when we get Chelsea, we will still beat them. That will not be problem. So for Arsenal, we are EPL champion this particular season. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much for joining us. Well, it's a confidence for me. Welcome, football fan, name and location.
Hello, James. Good afternoon.
Welcome.
Good afternoon to the other guys. My name is Patrick Azol. I'm calling from our national park. James, I really appreciate you guys for talking about Manchester United. Because the thing about Manchester United is to us Arsenal by beating Manchester City. But that goal, that equalizing goal was not a goal. It was an offside. It was an offside. But the referee just waved it off because it's goal time for us. There's one thing I see in there, that everything, you never know the defense. So the sense is, at the end of the day, Manchester United got 3 points and top Man City for Arsenal to stop them with 8 points. That's my most happiness thing. But I want to update you about Arsenal transfer. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, Sansi, joining from Itam. Appreciate you. Welcome, football fan. Name and location.
It's not a collector.
Right, 25 seconds, please.
Hello, please, I want to talk about my team, Liverpool. That poor performance against Brighton. Liverpool team needs overhauling. Some of the players need to be shown the example. Especially we need reinforcement in that team so that we can move to a better position. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for joining. Of course, keeping it short and simple. Appreciate you a great deal. Obliged. Whether or not Arsenal can go all the way this particular season now, they have a massive 8 points lead. Well, not the biggest of leads, but it's massive when you consider the fact that it's Arsenal, the top of the table, and this is the Premier League we're talking about as well.
Well, for me, I think I'll start by saying it was a good win against the Spurs. But I think Arsenal need to get into the market, get a striker for me. I saw Nketiah yesterday, good positioning by our standpoint, because I look at the defenders. When I see Nketiah, I think probably he's not going to do much, and they're not putting a lot of attention on him. And Nketiah having the ball, good time for you to make a name for yourself. Score the goal. He could have gotten 2 or 3 yesterday, but he was entirely wasteful. But good win for Arsenal, and disappointing from a Tottenham's point of view. I think the biggest element for Arsenal right now would be Odegaard. He's just been exceptional. And the defensive midfielders are totally ignoring him in games like this. And I was wondering what Sarr was doing yesterday. Had the first shot. That could have told you a lesson. Look, showed you something is going to happen. You have to take care of this guy in this position. But he never did it. Finally, they conceded 2. Disappointing outlook from Tottenham Hotspur after having all the players they've got. But they need that player that can cause a transition for them. Look, when you play Højbjerg at number 10 position, you do not really get that transition as fast as possible and an intelligent way, and that's basically what's lacking at Tottenham. But good win for Arsenal. But I still feel for them to cap it all, moving forward and winning the league, they need a striker in their midst.
No, Blyden has talked about one of the missing pieces for Tottenham Sports. Well, Mari, I'm not sure when you consider the quality in that sports roster that it would make sense the way sports are losing and dropping points and further behind in terms of what the ambition is this season, which is a push as hard as possible for the Premier League title and maybe eventually settle for a top of finish. Well, the two, in terms of the ambitions, are looking like very far off a little bit.
Yeah, right. I think it's a perennial problem for Tottenham since the start of the season, or last season, basically towards the end of last season. The way Tottenham play, clearly they might not get into the top four position at the end of the season. We talk about the kind of football they play, and we've started negative football. They are a lot more defensive than attacking. Well, I mean that's totally a wrong system when you have an attacking talent, like Harry Kane, Son Heung-min, and the rest of them in your team. I mean, these players do more defensive duties than attacking. When you look at their stats, their stats. I look better when we look at defensive contributions to the side, which is not supposed to be so. So over time, Conte has tried to change a few things with the side. He's trying to put in a lot more bites, a lot more pace from the flanks, but it's still not working because there's no creativity in the middle. He's put defensive midfielders in the middle, and that's too bad because there's no creativity from the middle of the park. What if the flank men are locked off like they were yesterday? Because Ramsey and Young had a good game in the first half, had even a much better game in the second half, but just could not score. Same story went for Matt Doherty. He was good at the first half, but just could not become better in the second half, and that was basically due to the fact that Arsenal tried to block them off in the wing. So there's no creativity for Tottenham in the middle of the park. That's the problem because the balls are not getting to Harry Kane as much as possible. He has to drop in deep. Balls are not getting to Son Heung-min as much as possible. He has to drop in deep as well. Kulusevski was the only man that showed loads of strength in the game yesterday because he was running both backwards and forwards and all of that. But the way Tottenham play, I'm not sure they'll get to that top four because you have to be a lot more attacking if you want to get those points in. But curious was now, Bright. Clearly, the ball is in their courts right now. We're not talking about a potential opponent because City are losing games. Tottenham are dropping points. Arsenal, Liverpool, and United, where they look good, but not at Arsenal's level. So the ball is in their court right now. If they win the Premier League, they have to do it by themselves.
All right, now we'll talk about the story elsewhere, but let's take a listen to Mikel Arteta very quickly.
Where we are really privileged that we can make a lot of people happy, and we have this opportunity. You have to try to do it. So the enjoyment, just sharing the victory with the fans, it was a great feeling. And then everything that we do, all the suffering hours of work, sometimes it makes a lot of sense when you have moments like this. It's great. I'm going in the dressing room and just feeling the joy and the togetherness around the team and how much it meant for them. It's special, and we know that we are here because the way we play, the way we behave, the way we are, and the way we live together, and the unity that we have. So we must not forget that, because tomorrow we have to try to do exactly the same, and the next day to try to carry on the form that we have at the moment.
It came out to say that considering how Liverpool were playing before they went into that particular encounter against Brighton, that he will never take Brighton as a serious team. Should they have played a draw against Liverpool? That if Brighton never defeated Liverpool, he wouldn't have taken Brighton as a serious team, and that even came to be because Liverpool, they were hugely less ambitious in that encounter. So many aging players in their midfield and their defense. Having Joel Matip around and players like I think Henderson,
Joe Gomez came in. We saw Joe. Was Moitoma.
Well, right before we saw Joe, we saw Matip. Was like, let's take out Matip and bring Joe so that Joe can do the Joe stuff.
That's moving from pan to fire.
From nowhere, we saw Joe doing the Joe stuff, going back and forth.
Joe was turning left, right, center, and looking for the ball everywhere.
Look at the third goal that Danny Welbeck scored. Joe was there. Welbeck just threw the ball across him and then boom. Joe was clearly -1 in that game.
But let us not also forget the fact that Brighton, they have been very fantastic. All those teams that are in front of Liverpool and Chelsea, I think it will really be very difficult for them to just. I think truly they are in form at the moment. They have been fantastic.
Right, that is the main reason Chelsea went for Graham Potter. The new manager is just building from where Graham Potter stopped at Brighton.
Right now, let's talk about Xavi claiming his first trophy is Barca manager. Well, blindly, you must talk about this one because, you know, there were lots of expressions that, well, Xavi's not the man. But got a victory over rivals in the Spanish Super Cup yesterday. Well, goals from Gavi. We also saw another from Robert Lewandowski. Karim Benzema scored rather what turned out to be a mere consolation for Real Madrid at the death. Well, Real, as in the case of Man City, have looked not the usual selves following the conclusion of the World Cup in Qatar. What changed?
Well, slow start, I think. Basically, that slow start. A lot of big players participated in the World Cup and they're back. And typical of Real Madrid, they're going back to that state. Slow start. Manchester City, the same thing. But you have to look at this particular game. I think it was a huge win for Barcelona and Xavi Hernandez. I really did talk about Xavi Hernandez and the potentials of what he could bring to Barcelona. But finally was able to win this one. And it's sweet when you do it against Real Madrid.
It's sweet when we can go to Facebook, Mari. The live feed, Soros has got us covered there, Mari. The sports page. Let's go.
Yeah, from the sports page, by Sevilla Chibong says, good afternoon, sports ground. So happily congratulate my lovely Arsenal team for that crucial derby victory against Spurs. Love the momentum. Missing out on Mudryk was a disappointing and harsh experience. I would urge my club to sign some players to boost the squad. Moshe Chidi Deji says, can someone explain to me what Ramsey did to warrant that unsporting behavior from a sore loser, Richarlison, on Sports Fan? Zila Jr. says, I'm happy with my team Chelsea for the win. Kepa made good saves. Kudos to Kai. Chelsea fans should understand that it's not about sacking Potter, but to make the players convert their chances. So Modric, I wish him the very best.
From the live feed, Desmond says, good afternoon, Planet Sports crew. Kudos to Chelsea for their winning against Crystal Palace yesterday and also to Barcelona. Alexander said, good afternoon, Sports crew. Please update me on Chelsea transfer. Sebastian Jones says, good afternoon, Bright James. Please help me tell Todd Boehly to sack Potter now. That is not too late. If not, Chelsea goes nowhere. I remain Sudan from Mbioporo. Yeah, Digland said, watching live from Ebonyi State. Good afternoon. Then he comes back. Oh, Oscar Upon said, hello, Planet Sports crew. Absolutely, the issue of Manchester Derby is arguably debatable. Everyone must have their say, but I will say that decision made and nothing will change the fact that Bruno Fernandes was offside. I love the fact that the former referee Damot Gallagher came to say it's not factual, it's subjective decision, and the referee must take notes of that. Damot Gallagher explained the decision behind Bruno Fernandes.
That's his opinion, actually.
Yeah. That's all from the live.
Yes, Sparks from yesterday. The Grafton Sports Credit Arsenal fans said that Mudryk is not happy at Chelsea because he wasn't smiling in the pictures he took. I want to let them know that he was not signed to smile. So United with my offside goals. God have mercy on us. This is what everyone sees. I must say, I was disappointed with my team. Man United losing their second game in a row, talking down to our neighbours at the Theatre of Dreams. Our poor run of form is a source of concern, especially with Arsenal continuing to widen the gap at the top. With UCL, the restart just about the corner. It's Mason Jr. says Chelsea went on with a hard-fought victory over Crystal Palace yesterday. I think that should be a wake-up call for them. Mr. Jarrett says Manchester United deserve respect from Arsenal for helping them stay comfortably 8 points clear at the top. Desire Bang, thank you. Botti Sandy, thank you. Yao Body Bang says I'm happy for Chelsea and Crystal Palace. Ability to Dustin, thank you. Njimeli Dan, thank you very much.
All right, now, runs 100 PSG. A second successive away defeat in the Ligue 1. Well, Rons claimed a deserved victory. Captain Hamari Tarare scored the only goal midway through the second half with a low finish inside the area after good work by Adrien Truffet. Well, another result on the day. Leo smashed 5 past Troyes was a 5-1 win. Angers lost against Clermont by goal to 2. Nantes 3-0 winners for Montpellier. Reims and Nice, well, shook hands. Was a 0-0 draw. Toulouse Brest 1-1, while Monaco smashed 7 past Jasio in a 7-1 win for the side. Now let's go to Italy and tell you about Victor Osimhen. Well, making headlines again, scoring his 11th and 12th goal in that 5-1 rout of Juventus. Ademan Lukman was second with the goal scorer stats. He's got 9 goals, similar of goals as Lautaro Martinez of Inter Milan, Balanzola of Spezia, and of course Marco Anatovic of Bologna, and Rafael Leo of AC Milan have got 8 goals each. Now the results, Cremonese lost against Monza by 3 goals to 2 at home. Lecce 2, AC Milan 2. Inter Milan won winners over Hellas Verona, Sassuolo 0, Lazio 2, Torino 0, Spezia 1. Udinese lost against Bologna by a goal to 2. Atalanta 8-2 winners over Salernitana. Roma 2-0 win is over Roma, or over Fiorentina rather, while Empoli and Sampdoria take to the pitch later this evening by 8:45 p.m. We'll talk about transfers.
Moses Simon had a fine game as Nantes trashed Montpellier 3-0. Isaac Success provided an assist as Udinese lost 2-1 at home to Bologna. Terry Murphy was on the score sheet as Llorente lost 3-1 to Olympique Marseille. Cyril Deza scored his third Serie A goal of the season as Cremonese suffered home defeat to Monza.
All right, now
Indeed, the Iheanacho all in action as Nottingham Forest inflict fourth consecutive EPL defeat on Leicester City. Tony Payne scored her first goal of the season as Sevilla won 4-2. Rafael Onyedika had a solid game as Club Brugge drew at home 1-1. Alex Iwobi created a chance as Everton lost at home to Southampton 1-2. Sami Achukwueze provided an assist as Villarreal drew Celta Vigo 1-1. Christy Uchebe featured as Benfica won 8-0 at home. A clean sheet in the defense for Ashley Plumtree as Leicester City won their first league game of the season. That's all from scorecard of Nigerian players.
Aston Villa have confirmed an agreement has been reached with Chicago Fire for the permanent transfer of 19-year-old striker John Doran.